Well, hello guys, it's Roo here, Sam and Josh again. Got some more questions to answer for you and things to catch up on. But first of all, hope you're really well and all happy as much as you can be. Been up to much since last week, guys?
I have been gardening, doing a lot of DIY, a lot of yoga. Not that much different really from last week.
Life in the cabin has like lovely, simple rhythms.
My beard is getting long and my wife is telling me I need to trim it.
No one's cutting my hair. I keep on saying, like, can someone give me a haircut? And they're like, no.
What about you, Josh?
Yours is growing back quite a lot.
Yeah.
I've been growing mine, but I've been, every time I go out in the sun, I put my cap on so that I don't get a white bit on my forehead, you know.
Last week, I had a bit of a mad one and just had a moustache, and then I went out in the sun. I thought, this is such a bad idea. Like, I'm gonna get like a tash tan. Well, I've been whittling. You know, I started on a ladle. I spent hours like axing down the wood to like get it into shape, and then like days like whittling it down. And then just before I finished it, it snapped in half.
No.
I had a real hissy fit, and I kind of snapped it in half properly, and then I threw it across the garden. Literally days of work. How about you, Josh?
I went for my first spring swim this week in the sea, which was nice.
That's so nice.
Well, we've got some more questions. The first question is from Katie Allen in Scotland. We know Katie. Hello.
Hey, Katie.
Which was your favourite song to make from the new EP?
I really enjoyed recording Listen to the One Who Loves You.
Yeah, that was my favourite. That one I loved. I loved the way that one came together, because it started off with like Josh sitting at a piano when we weren't going to put piano in it. Yeah. And then it just kind of organically became like piano, pedal steel, and then like, hey, should we just do it live? And then we did it live, and it just felt really natural. I really enjoyed the process of Pacific personally, because I wrote it in the shower and then came out of the shower and was like, I've got this song. And then the next day got in touch with Sean and then was like, hey, should we just record? And then it took us like half an hour to record.
We'd got like the structure of Sun Will Rise over the year, and we were like, okay, let's do some drums, I think. And Sam was like, I think I got some drums for this. And I was feeling really ill that day, so I went and like had a nap.
Yeah.
And when I came back, you'd like lay at about 100 drum tracks up, and you were just in there, just sweating, just like.
Oh my gosh, you were in there for so long.
We've got a question from Clin Gilsey from Russia. And he says, I'm a little bit of a musician myself, and from my humble experience, your music generally doesn't look very complex in terms of chord progressions, harmonies, etc. Comparing to something like jazz, for example. Don't get me wrong, I love your music. I'm just curious, since you were talking about some experimentations and trying out new things, how far would you go with that? Would you be bold enough to experiment with some odd time signatures or complex harmonies at some point? What is the compromise/balance between lyrics and music for you?
It's a really good question. I've always had this line in my head that says, it's not clever to confuse people. Art and music and stuff, for me, it's about communication. So I don't start with how many clever things I can put into it. I just try and communicate the thing I'm trying to communicate, like the feeling, the lyrics. It's all part of the communication. And there are some songs for me where I feel like part of communicating that is doing something a bit weird. Like there's a song called My Narrow Road on Quiet Man, and that song like modulates twice, I think, or something, and it goes between minors and majors in a really odd way, but that felt exactly right for that song, because it's trying to create this like slightly ethereal, meandering, odd thing of like called life, and it's all about that kind of confusion and stuff. And in Message to Myself, like I used a lot of polyrhythms at the end with the strings, and they're all working on different time signatures, and they create this kind of big blur at the end. And that was very deliberate, to try and create that kind of cacophony of sound that you feel sometimes when you're like trying to work stuff out. But it's all about trying to communicate those feelings, and I'll do whatever I feel needs to be done musically to do that.
Good answer for a good question.
Yeah. Okay. Kim in the USA asks, how do your artistic talents interconnect with one another? What role does each play in your expression and inspiration?
Other artistic like hobbies and stuff, like whittling or painting or whatever, they do really add something to music, weirdly. Like they give you space to think and they make you look at different things and ponder different things. Like when I paint, I love the fact that it forces me to kind of express something in front of me visually. And it makes me think about exactly what I'm looking at and exactly what I'm feeling. And those are all really good practices for songs as well.
If your goal as an artist is to be yourself in whatever you're making, it doesn't matter if you're painting or writing prose or writing journalism or writing a song, or, you know, your voice is going to be consistent throughout. So actually the disciplines are kind of secondary, and I think it all comes from one well.
So this is a ad hoc picture round. When was this?
That's the shepherd's hut. But what is that? What's that sack?
It's a very specific moment.
Oh, mate, I know when it was. Oh my gosh. It was when you forgot your passport.
Yeah.
Sam drove all the way from Cornwall to my house to stay the night before we were going to drive at like 6 a.m. to, I think it was Heathrow in the morning, which is like 2.5 hours away. But then he got to mine and was sitting there and it was like sunset out in the shepherd's hut. And he was like, oh, I was so happy just to be like relaxed. That was such a long drive. And then for some reason, I don't know why, I went, do you have your passport? Like the look on your face was horrendous. Literally just drained the blood. You're like, oh. Sam had to drive all the way back and then all the way to the airport the next day as well.
Roo, we've got a few questions here regarding kind of spiritual life. There's one from Ian from Kentucky. Ian talks about studying theology in school and whether that inspired your art and writing. One from Annabelle from the US. Well, she just basically asks, is your music spiritually inspired? And there's one from Katja from the Netherlands. She listens carefully to your lyrics and wants to know, are you singing about the love of your life or a greater power? For example, Little Giant, you make me run like I've never run. Is that towards a lover or are you singing towards the universe?
Okay, all right. Yeah, big ones. I guess we all believe something in some way, shape or form, you know, even if we don't think anything, but it always informs who we are and the way that we think about things. And, you know, are the songs about lovers or something more? You know, quite a number are just like love songs. But I think when I started writing, I had a feeling that whatever is more than me, like if there's something more than me, which, you know, I believe there is, then they're very interested in the way that we look at things like love and that kind of stuff. Like Know Me Well, for instance, is a song about being known well, you know, just pure and simple. It's a song about the power of feeling recognized for who you are. And like equally for me, it's a song about knowing, in like for me, that I was created and unknown so well, and that whoever that isn't afraid of like the bits of me that I don't know about me yet or whatever. I'm kind of embraced as I am and stuff. But that teaches me something about what it means to know someone, what it means for them to know me, you know, and it boils down to very human actions and like just lessons for me in my life. So the songs are very rarely songs that are like spiritual songs, but of course, like what you believe will inform the way that you look at things. Little Giant as a song, that thing of like have the heart of a giant but know you're a man, that's kind of this thing of like, for me when I was a kid, I always even just looking at like a blade of grass or a tree or a star or the sky, I just thought, wow, like there is something so beautiful, like, and so complicated, but so simple, like, and it's more than me, and it was here before me, and I just didn't feel very accidental. I felt like just as designed as those things, and at the same time, like I kind of felt like there's all this huge stuff, and then there's just me. And I don't really know much about life, so that made me write "Have the Heart of a Giant, but Know You're a Man." I just felt like there's this beauty beyond me that wants me to be more. but at the same time is okay with me being human. I would say that definitely for me, I am excited by mystery, and I'm excited by the things that are bigger than me. I don't sit down to try and write a kind of commercial song or anything. I sit down and try and explain or communicate, like I was saying. But I would say that that's actually completely independent of my theology studies. You know, I would say that that didn't have much bearing at all, other than I found that there was too much thinking, like, and it's a lot simpler than that for me, and always has been. That's about all I think I'll say in it for now. But something I haven't talked about because it's private and personal, and yeah, I've always had like questions coming my way with that, and I've never been sure how to answer it because I don't know how to do it justice. But I think the answer is my songs are my songs, and the answer's in them, really.
Okay, the last one's for me and Sam.
Oh.
And it's, you guys have worked with Roo for a while and know each other very well. What's the best thing about working with Roo? That's from Tobias in Sweden, by the way.
I think for me, like, the best thing about working with Roo has been our friendship. When we first got together to record on Quiet Man, it just, it didn't feel hard work. It just felt very easy, and I felt like we understood each other's like musical language and creative language, and all the other musicians as well that we've like traveled with and played with. There's a really great team surrounding your albums and your music, and it's just been really fun to like hang out with everyone.
What's the worst thing about traveling with Roo is that he takes your hat and then he bends the peak.
Oh, yeah, it's so true.
So that it's all bent and angular, or just loses them,
or like never gives them back.
Surprise, surprise! This isn't even my hat.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me at all. Okay, my favorite thing is the fact that we come from very different angles on certain things, but we sort of share a sense of humor, and I find that we laugh a lot, and we also have a lot of serious discussions about difficult things, but never without a tinge of humor that help each other see each other's point of view. We all manage to be very honest with each other, and it's always okay to be wherever you're at.
All of the stuff that we've like been doing, we couldn't really have done without that very thing of just like, actually we're friends first and foremost.
There's always just so much like silliness.
Josh,
yeah,
you are the bringer of silliness and fun. There's a few things, Josh, that you just have to like say a word and have it in stitches.
No, but it's definitely the friend thing, you know. I just think we have such a good laugh, and I really love that.
I love you guys. This has been fun.
Yeah, it's great to chat.
Thank you for your questions, everyone.
Yeah,
love you guys.
stay safe.
See ya.
See ya.